Hey, we're back to ecology and it's biome day. Biome. So you can see on the screen here what we're talking about in terms of these biomes. And if you have your book at home, we're referencing back into chapter 4. You've done some biome, excuse me, work before. And that biome work was probably back in elementary, middle school where you've got some time, maybe middle school where you did a biome project. This is going to be a pretty quick one, although there are a lot of biomes. This is there's not a whole lot for me to explain specifically. Once again, a nice shout out to Mr. Russell. He put this together for us. So you can see what we're looking at there. Whoa, too fast. We do have some major biomes, and you can look at this graphic, and I will post, actually I have posted to our Google Classrooms this particular presentation so that you can see it and you can see the different listings. But by all means, this is not an entirely comprehensive list. We are measuring these things, these biomes, based on the characterizations that they have on their abiotic and to a certain extent their biotic factors. So it's where living things exist in ecosystems. So tropical rainforest, just for a quick one, really important. Lots of biodiversity that exists in the tropical rainforests. We're talking about massive amounts of organisms, and we're talking about some really heavy photosynthesizers. So tropical rainforests are muy importante. And we're going to spend some more time when we get into some of the global climate changes. When we talk about tropical rainforests, they will come back to us. And we have some images. And you can see upper corner there, we've got in Brazil, that's a climatograph. And what you're looking at with a climatograph is the average temperature versus month versus average precipitation. So you get two data points on that graph where your red line is going to be temp, very stable in the tropical rainforest, and precipitation, we have a rainy and we have a dry season. So you can you'll see these graphs on these different slides. So keep moving around. Tropical dry forests. We don't talk about the tropical dry forests very often, but we do have some of these instances that exist. Obviously, if you've got a wet season, then you're going to have some dry seasons, but these are forests that typically are found in areas where the alternating wet and dry is a little bit more heavily laden towards dry. If that's probably about as an unequivocal comment as I can make. So taking a look there, though, we do have still some rainy season. That's our average precipitation in the blue, and that's going to be like your October, November time, but you'll see how it's leaning more towards dry than it is towards wet. And you're talking like subcontinent India there, and we've got some really consistent, again, some baseline temperatures that are existing. Tropical grasslands, savannas, and shrublands. We got some biotics and abiotics. Feel free to pause this at any point. That's a good pause face. There we go. Waxy coating and containing the silica to make them less appetizing to grazers for those biotics. Those are those plant organisms that are really resilient to the grasslands and to these areas, but they're going to be organisms that are going to be consumers there, so they have to still have some adaptations. And there you go. You've got your climatograph, and then just an example of a beautiful cheetah. Deserts, we're talking about less than 25 centimeters of annual precipitation. You can have a cold desert. Doesn't have to be hot, it just has to have not precipitation. All right, very difficult places for organisms to exist, and so these are going to be organisms that have special adaptations that allow them to function in the desert settings. So, and then, oh, look, Yuma, Arizona. Ooh, excellent. Look at that low precipitation on that climatograph. That is kinda nuts. You're looking at, look at that, really high spiking temperatures in June, July, and August. Blah. Average temperature is almost pushing up over 30 degrees C. Body temperature is 36.7 degrees C. So, you can kind of get a reference point there. That's hot. Okay. Temperate grasslands, again, you can pause and I think this is pretty straightforward. And then I'm going to go ahead and advance to this one. There you go. Ooh, beautiful. Like I said, this presentation is actually going to be pretty quick. There's not a whole lot that I have to explain to you until you start to work on your ecology project, when you will have to find your own biome, and we'll fill in some of those details as time goes on. Actually, that's going to be next week. Temperate woodlands and shrublands, you can get your abiotic and biotic factors there. We do have, in terms of the some fire resistance. Now this comes into play. We're going to again tag this back to global climate change. You're getting this basic science right now and this exposure, so that we can get into that global climate change and that science that exists. Australia burned. Australia burned. Not that they are temperate grasslands and shrublands, but in terms of their outback, whew, man. So some are fire resistant, and we can talk about how organisms can propagate through fire. But that's not necessarily for this particular discussion right now. Beautiful place to go take a hike. There you go. Our temperate forests, our northern deciduous or temperate forests here, we're going to be looking here. Let's jump ahead. That's going to be Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, that in that climatograph there. This is kind of what we live in. This is kind of where we got some ferns, we got some baby deers, we got some large deciduous trees. Let's go back to the biotics and abiotics. We get our cold to moderate winters. Yeah, warm summers, sure. We have those 4 seasons. So in terms of temperate forests, we are going to see those. We're kind of this Midwestern region, we kind of like on this transition area. We've got some farms, we got some fields, we got some grasslands, we've got some forests. So we're kind of in that. We got the Great Lakes. So we've kind of got some weird different aspects that exist within our particular zone of being Ohio. Having not really being from here, I don't necessarily relate to the Ohio biome necessarily. Northern deciduous temperate forests, that's this guy. Like, get me in the mountains. Or because that's where I was, like from 0 to 16, 17. But then out west, get me into the Rockies. That's where I live and breathe, man. That's home. That's my biome home. My home biome homes. I can't. Northwestern coniferous forest, the conifers, or those trees that are leaving keeping their needles year round, those pine trees. Again, you can see that there. Boom, and look. Oh, Seattle, Washington. Beautiful. Look at that climatograph there. Very moderate. Okay. The boreal forests, or sometimes known as the taiga. We do have some very nutrient poor soils that exist there, and it's going to be a really rough place to live. We have we have some really long, cold winters, so we get some more extreme. We get some permafrost. It's a little bit deeper down, and then you can see, look at that, boom, spiking temperatures up to whopping 10 degrees Celsius. Woo! But precipitation staying pretty low. So we do get a snowpack, and then we do that. And it looks like this particular climatograph is not taking into account the snowfall. It looks like it's just on rainfall precipitation. So you know what? I'm going to check with Mr. Russell on that, because I didn't pull this file, so I'm not sure if this climatograph is just showing us rainfall or if it's actually a full precipitation. So I'm going to check that with him. We'll get back to you on it. Maybe put a little note in a little comment section. So permafrost, or the tundra there that we have, you can see that. Not much really. It's just a cold, dark, barren place. And organisms have to be extremely extreme in and of their own adaptations to be able to survive there. All right, well, I'm hitting 9 minutes already. Thought that wasn't going to take me that long to run through those, but it did. So my apologies. I didn't feel like I lingered on any one slide. Aquatic ecosystems, that's where the water is, and I think we'll hold it off there. All right, more details to follow on all of this as we hit into our ecology project. Thanks, guys.